Welcome to the Hunt Fish Live podcast. I'm Dan, your host, and this is episode 4. This week we're going to talk a little bit about fall bluegill fishing and some deer hunting. So we're going to get started. Last weekend, my wife and I went to one of our favorite bluegill spots in search of some yellow perch in the shallows, and we did not find any perch, but we found some nice bluegills. We caught about 25 hand-sized bluegill in roughly an hour and a half. It was so much fun. We're using small tungsten jigs like you would for ice fishing, tipped with a wax worm or two, depending on where you cast it, I guess. We were probably fishing about 6 to 8 feet of water, about 6 feet down. So they weren't deep, but they weren't shallow. We got word that the perch are starting to move in shallow, so that's what we were initially trying to find, but we were we were unsuccessful. So we actually ended up going back to the same spot when I got back from my hunting trip this past weekend, and did the same thing. Can't beat cool water and fresh bluegill. It's just an amazing thing. All right, let's switch gears and let's talk about some hunting. Weather for opening day last week was pretty warm. All last week was pretty warm here in Michigan, so I actually did not get out. I didn't have time, and I didn't feel like sweating and stinking up my spots this early. So, and I knew that the weather's on the way, so I just stayed out of there. I wasn't seeing anything really on cameras, so I felt like it was best to avoid the area. My trip to Indiana, I took off Friday mid-morning, picked up my buddy Jeff, and we headed down to Northwest Indiana. We did get down in time to get unpacked, get settled in, and get into the woods. Little did we know, Friday night was really our only chance to see anything worth it. Jeff saw a nice 6-point and a buck that we call Dan. Dan is like he's a 6 or 8-point. I think he's an 8-point, but his antlers go straight up in the air almost, and they're kind of funky. Turns out he's got a hurt or broken left front leg. So I think we're going to try to take him out at some point. The goal is for Dan to shoot Dan. So I'm actually kind of excited. He's a nice looking deer, and I'd be proud to have him. He'd be a nice one for down there. It'd be a cool story too, just because we've got trail camera pictures. He disappeared for a while, and then he ended up coming back. We thought he got taken by EHD, but he did not, which was pretty good, pretty awesome to see. He was gone for like 3 weeks, I think, and we started getting worried about him because we hadn't seen him, and all of a sudden he showed up October 3rd, so last Thursday, I believe, and he was around on the 4th on Friday. So that was good. It's nice to see a buck that you've been watching show back up after disappearing for a little while. Other than that, let's see. I saw a few does in the woods eating acorns, and I also saw probably one of the tallest 4-points I've ever seen. He's still a 1.5 year old buck, so I'm not gonna shoot a 1.5 year old, but he looked, if he makes it till next year, he's gonna be a tank. And then I probably will not pass him up. Yeah, just good looking deer. Those I saw were all very healthy looking as well. So it's encouraging. Actually, our buddy Steve met us down there and hunted, let's see, Saturday and Sunday morning. He saw a couple nice bucks while he was out. He was hunting a different farm than we were on, but we're still staying together, hunting together. Saturday, Nobody really saw anything. It was 81 degrees at 6 o'clock when we went out, which is pretty dang warm. It's hard not not sweating and stinking up your spot when it is that warm. It's just a rough, I guess not really rough, but it's a gamble early season down there. It can either be hot, really hot like that, or cold. Cold front's moving through now, and it's gonna cool everything down for the next week. So that'll be good. I think 10-day that I saw for up here anyway, forecast was in the 60s every day. So that is great news for deer hunting. I think I'm going to try to get out this week and see what we can do. I've got a good feeling. Deer are starting to show up on my cameras again. They disappeared for a while. For, I don't know, a week or two. I thought EHG might have taken out the herd over there, but it has not. Let's see. So I guess a little bit about that 4-point that I saw. He came in back into my right. There's a trail that cuts across the woods that that we use to get to a few stands. The deer use it to travel from one end of the property to the other and out into the farm fields to feed. And I heard something coming behind me. Kind of turned my head a little bit and heard something coming from behind me. Kind of turned my head a little bit and saw antlers. So I got excited, grabbed my bow, got the camera on him, and he came to 20 yards, stopped behind a bush, and he could smell me a little bit, but he couldn't really put a pointer on what he was smelling. And so he just stood there for 10 minutes or so trying to figure it out, and he wasn't able to. He ended up walking around the bush, getting into view, so I was able to see him, and he just kind of hung out eating acorns and filling his belly up. Let's see, being a right-handed bow shooter, it's hard. You can't really shoot to the right at all, just because of how you have to pull back a bow. And he was behind. There's a branch that comes off of the tree that it's hard to pull back around if you're twisted and trying to shoot across that side of the tree. So I was able to watch him for a little bit. He was in range for about 20 minutes, and he ended up just kind of walking off the way he came. There was a small flock of turkeys that came through, and they kind of took everybody with them. I did hear the turkeys roost about a half hour later. These deer came through about 7 or 6, 7. Yeah, came through around 7, and right around when I think sunset was about 7:20, 7:25, I think, on Friday. So the turkeys are heading to bed, and the deer followed. This time of year, we got early mid-October, I guess you could call it. As far as food sources, you want to, especially down there, like Indiana, our farm in Indiana is all soybeans, and they all turn brown. They're getting picked right now, actually. When your when your food source starts to dry out and either get ready for harvest or just get ready for dormant winter, the deer move on. So right now you want to be hunting hardwoods, oak trees, oak flats, anywhere acorns are falling is a good opportunity for you to be around deer and shoot that buck that you've been wanting to shoot. Food sources are still key. If you're hunting sign, try to pick something that's like, I guess you want it to be along your travel routes right now. You don't want to, You don't want to hunt that rut sign unless you're on a super hot scrape and you know that they're going to be there during the daylight. Sometimes best to use that rut sign, your scrapes, your rubs, like and stuff like that, to connect the dots for where you should set on your food, your eating opportunities for the deer. Also think about weather. The first true cold front comes through for fall right around now, and it can be a prime opportunity to kill your target buck that's been reclusive over the past couple months. So get out there. There's just something about that first cold front, that first real cold front that gets deer on their feet, and be prepared to sit in the tree when you see these conditions popping up. So here in Michigan this week, or lower Michigan anyway, this week, I had some buddies hunting up a little bit north of here in Oceana County, and they saw it was 60, 70, low 70s all weekend for highs, and they saw deer every single sit. So you just got to do it. Weather's cooling down, like I said, so get out there and get in the tree, kill a buck, man. That's what we're always going for. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to follow me on Spotify and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you again next week. Have a good one.